Hey guys, Scott from DST Tactical back again today with another review of the H&K P30. Okay guys, so today we're going to be going over the H&K P30 pistol. The P30 is a polymer frame hammer fired pistol, and it's available in either 9mm or 40 caliber depending on which one you choose. The pistol is offered in a variety of variants. Today we're going to be covering the variant 3. Mine has a safety and decocker, and it's double action, single action. The P30 is essentially an upgraded version of the USP series of pistols. It's made of a reinforced polyamide, which is basically just a polymer. It has a 1913 Picatinny rail up front here, and it has a one-piece machine slide made of nitrocarburized steel, and it's got HK's hostile environment finish on the slide. I'll put a link in the description for more information on nitrocarburization treatments if you guys are interested. The P30 is, for comparison's sake, very similar in size to a Glock 19. In 9mm, the P30 can hold up to 15 rounds in the magazine. However, this year HK did redesign the VP9 magazines to hold up to 17 rounds, and they are backwards compatible with the P30. So now if you have a 9mm P30, you can run it with 17 round mags, which is fantastic. It has a 3.85 inch barrel with polygonal rifling. Typical lands and grooves rifling allows gases to escape around the bullet as it's traveling down the barrel, which causes a decrease in velocity on the round. The polygonal rifling helps to seal the propellant gases behind the bullet and helps to increase velocity. And they're also more resistant to wear and are much easier to clean than barrels with traditional rifling. One of the best features on this gun is the grip. It's extremely customizable, and it comes with 3 different interchangeable grip panels on the left side and the right side and the back strap. They're all interchangeable, and they come with a small, medium, and large size. What's great about this is you can combine small, medium, and large in pretty much any combination you want. You can have small on the left, large on the right, and small on the back, or however you want to make it fit your hand the best. I think this is one of the most ergonomic grips on the market, and it just feels fantastic in your hand. And with the grip texture on it, it's definitely not going to go anywhere. Okay, so sights. They're decent on the P30. They're a 3-dot sight style setup. Try to get a picture of that there for you. They are luminescent sights. If you charge them with a flashlight or an external light source, they're going to glow extremely brightly in day or dark conditions. Not as good as tritium. I do prefer to have tritium night sights, but if you charge these up and go into a dark room, they are definitely going to pop out at you. But metal construction, would have preferred if they put a more squared off rear sight on here so you could do one-handed slide manipulations with it. But overall, decent quality for stock sights. The grip texture on it is fairly aggressive. I'll try to get a good shot of it here that you guys can see. It's a little more aggressive compared to, let's say, the VP9. Same style of texturing, but again, a little more aggressive on the P30. And some people complain that when you're concealed carrying the weapon, it's a little bit too abrasive and it can cause some discomfort when you've been carrying the gun all day. I would agree with that to a certain extent. I mean, not enough that it stops me from carrying the gun, but that's the price you pay. I mean, you get a better grip on it. It's going to stay in your hand a little bit better, especially when you get some sweat or you've been shooting it for a longer period of time, but it's going to stay in your hand and it's not going to move, and that's really ultimately what you want above comfort. One of the more controversial aspects of it is the European paddle style magazine release. You can see on the bottom here, it's got an ambidextrous paddle style release. So instead of the typical American style button release that's here, it has 2 paddles on the left and right side that you actuate with your trigger finger, middle finger, or thumb. I mean, depending on how you want to hit it from either side to release the magazine. Some people prefer it, some people don't. I think once you practice with it, it can be marginally faster than a traditional button style release. And it also gives you the benefit of not having to break or adjust your grip as much. You can just pick up your finger, hit the button. You don't gotta cock the gun to the side and hit the button or anything like that. And it helps you to focus more on actually shooting and keeping the gun on target. Again, depends on your personal opinion. I think once you use it enough, maybe you'd come to appreciate it. I certainly have. And I found myself to be faster with it now that I've practiced with it more than a typical button style magazine release. Another complaint that some people have had is the trigger, the double action, single action variants of the P30. It does have a very heavy initial double action trigger pull, and once that goes off, obviously slide cycles, and you get your follow-up single action shot, which is light and fairly consistent, and you do have a decent wall there, a little bit of take up there. Once the shot goes off, cycles again in single action. The reset, people feel, and I would agree with it, is a little bit long, goes all the way out to about there before you get a reset. It is somewhat tactile, doesn't really come out as forcefully as I would like. And again, a little bit of a long reset, but this is it's a gun designed for combat and duty use. It's not a target pistol. A lot of people like to harp on trigger quality. This trigger is fine. I mean, it's designed with function first and reliability first and foremost over anything else, and I think it does a great job at that. These guns have a very reliable track record, and they're built to do their job well. If you want to get a better trigger, I've heard that Bruce Gray over at Gray Guns does a fantastic job cleaning up the action on these, and maybe someday I'll send mine out to get that done. But I think it's perfectly suitable for a double action, single action, combat/duty handgun. One of the things you can do with the safety and decocker variant of the P30 is you can actually run it cocked and locked like a 1911. And that's a good way of getting around the heavier initial double action trigger pull. And that way when you draw the weapon, all you have to do is swipe the safety off, and you just have the 4.5 pound single action pull to contend with for all of your subsequent shots. And the double action pull is, I mean, it's pretty heavy. It comes in at about, I think it was 11.5 pounds when I measured it last. So about 11.5 pound double action pull, and again, 4.5 pound single action. I've seen some complaints from some users that they get pinched in the groove or have irritation in their trigger finger after long shooting sessions. I personally haven't found this to be an issue. But I mean, if you're pulling the trigger from the very bottom and constantly scraping your finger against that little trowel, I can see how it could start to be an issue. But I mean, I pull the trigger from right in the center and haven't had any problem with that personally. So another pro of the gun is that it's pretty much completely ambidextrous. It does have the paddles, again, we talked about on both sides of the trigger guard for the magazine release, ambidextrous safety on both sides, and it has an ambidextrous slide release on the left and right sides there that you can actuate from either side. In addition to the ambidextrous safeties we talked about, it does have internal hammer and firing pin safeties, and on the back of the weapon it has a decocker just to the left of the hammer that you can use to safely drop the hammer with a loaded chamber. It also has a loaded chamber indicator in the extractor. You can see the red paint up here at the front of the extractor. When there's a round in the chamber, it does protrude a little bit, so it gives you some tactile feedback that there is a round in the chamber if you're in a condition where you can't see the red paint. And again, when the round is in there, pushing that out a little bit lets you see the red paint on the extractor, letting you know you have a round in the chamber. Again, I don't really know how useful that is. To me, my opinion is always know if your gun's loaded and ready to go off. But if you want to look at the indicator, this does have an indicator. Another interesting and useful feature that H&K included is the addition of a recoil reduction system with a polymer buffer on the captive recoil spring here. Having this added to the recoil assembly with the already low recoiling 9mm round makes this a very comfortable and accurate gun to shoot. I think this is a fantastic design. They have a similar design on the P30L. I think it has a metal and polymer buffer on the guide rod and spring, and also the HK45 has a similar design to this, but I think that's a great addition to have in the slide. HK is a name synonymous with quality, engineering, design, durability, and manufacturing of small arms weapons. The P30 is definitely no exception to this. You definitely get what you pay for. HK does tend to carry a price premium, whether you feel it's justified or not. That's totally subjective. The P30 was torture tested by the late Todd Green to a whopping 90,000 rounds before any major failure presented itself in the weapon. I think that's a pretty great testament to how well these guns are built and how well they perform. These pistols used to list for around $900 to $1,000 before the VP9 came to market, at which time HK did drop the price on some of its other offerings, including this pistol. I was lucky to be able to buy mine for about $650 brand new out of the box, so definitely got a great deal on this one. So you may or may not have seen the video I did prior to this on my cleaning of the P30. I wanted to do a follow-up video that actually covered my opinions and review of the pistol. And I did show in that video how to disassemble the gun, but just for the sake of redundancy, I'll show you guys again how to take it apart really quickly here in this video. What you want to do is pull the slide back to a little intercept notch right there. Then from the opposite side, you're going to push this little pin through and pull the pin through this side. Slide's going to go forward and come off of the frame. And then you just take out the recoil spring and guide rod, which again is captive. Pull out the barrel. And that's it. Pretty simple teardown. And putting it back together, just going in the opposite direction. And if you want a more in-depth look at that, again, you could reference my cleaning video I did on the P30. Hey guys, thanks again for watching. Hope you found the review entertaining and educational. If you're enjoying the content, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Also follow us on our social media pages on Instagram and Facebook. I'll put links to those in the description. Thanks again for watching, guys.